guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, October 25th, 2024. Welcome to another eBay video. Tonight I'm going to present a special Halloween themed eBay video with plenty of scary eBay stories that are guaranteed to scare even the most experienced eBay seller among you. I will present these in my usual entertaining way, and I sure hope that you find them enlightening and enjoyable. The topics I want to cover tonight are several. Number one, rush deals never work. I've told you about this many times before. I've got a good one for you tonight. Also, last week's video, I basically joked about selling a set of Lincoln alloy wheel center caps for the third time. You may remember I said, I wonder if they're going to come back for a third time. They're coming. I'm done with them. More about that later. A chargeback. I'm also going to talk about buyers who want to cancel 3 hours after the post office has scanned it in their system. You know, if this stuff, all this stuff that I'm telling you happened in the span of 1 week. And I'm not even going to tell you all the stories because this is going to be about a 35-minute show tonight. And I don't want to keep you any longer than that, but I actually could if I wanted to. Also, by popular demand, and also Halloween themed, eggnog. So I'm going to start off the show right now by pouring a nice glass of eggnog. Okay, I'm going to sample it. Alazam. Very good. Very good. I love eggnog. I'm going to start off now by talking about, I think I'll talk about the attempted cancellation because that is the most fresh in my mind because it just happened recently. So what happened is a person from Puerto Rico purchased an item from me. I've been noticing, and guys, I tell it the way I see it. I have friends of mine that also sell on eBay Motors, and we all seem to be agreeing on the same aspects. Buyers from Puerto Rico don't thoroughly read the listings, and they're a little bit more trouble than your average buyer. In the last month and a half or so, maybe even less, maybe a month, I've sold 4 items to Puerto Rico. Oh my God! Oh my God, another return just came in right now. I swear to Christ Jesus on the cross. I'm going to stop. I'm going to see what this one's about. Nobody gets the videos that I get. This is the guy I told you about last week, right here. The guy with the key. Remember the person with the key that wanted to return them? This guy I knew was going to be trouble. He's 73 years old. And here's what he writes in the comments. Assumed key would fit locking nuts for all 1989 to 1996 GMs. However, that's not the case. A photo of the configuration of the key may well have avoided confusion on my part. My advice to that buyer, don't even go online for anything, okay? Stay off the computer, all right? Know your role. I showed you in last week's video that it was a silver key. I had a picture of the silver bolt that it fits, all right? That's all it fits. And he went ahead and then tried to buy a set of black locks, black bolts, a real nightmare. I told you when this started that this was going to be a scary video, but even I didn't think it was going to be this scary with returns coming in during the video. I've had 7 returns this week, 3 in one day. I swear to sweet Jesus, I am really getting sick of it. Thankfully, Most of the people will say that it doesn't fit and it's their mistake. But I'm finding an increasing amount of people that are lying about it. But to get back to this shipment going out to Puerto Rico, I sold 4 items to Puerto Rico in the last month or so. 3 of them came back. Wrong size, doesn't fit. Okay, they admitted they bought the wrong size. And the 4th one tried to cancel 3 hours after the post office scanned it in. Now I'm going to show you this one. To give you a timeline, let's just say 12 noon he made the purchase. I waited an hour or so, 1:30, okay. I printed the shipping label, boxed the item. At about, let's just say 4 o'clock, I took it to the post office. And then yesterday at 7 o'clock, he wants to cancel. I don't know how eBay even has an option to cancel when it shows that it's been accepted by the carrier already. That's something I don't get. I'm going to show you. I'm going to tell you exactly what I said too. He writes, "Please cancel this order." And I wrote, "No, thank you. It's already been shipped." If he would have asked to cancel right away, that's no problem. Even within an hour. I always wait an hour before printing anything. I just don't know what is on people's minds lately. It's really gone to hell in a handbasket on eBay. And I'm not saying it's just about eBay, no. I think all sites are experiencing this because it's the legacy of the Amazon mindset. The Amazon mindset. And it's basically transitioning over to eBay and other sites, and that's not good for you, and that's not good for me. So what happens next? This Looney Tune leaves me reverse positive feedback. Leaves me a green dot saying, "Do not buy from this seller. You're wasting your time. Shop elsewhere," that kind of thing. So I called eBay Concierge, and they immediately removed the feedback. The guy is absolutely insane. But wait, there's more. He also filed a payment dispute, claiming item not received. This shows how intellectually challenged he really is. He purchased the item maybe a little bit after lunch, and 8 hours later, he's filing an item not received case. That just shows the level of stupidity, okay? I responded to the payment dispute as I should and explained my side of it. And he even admitted in the payment dispute that he realized 3 or 4 hours after buying the item he no longer needs it. This is where these people should be prosecuted for scamming like this, because they're misusing this system. Is there anybody out there that can tell me how I can block Puerto Rico? In the old days, it used to be very easy. But ever since they incorporated Puerto Rico with the eBay International Shipping Program, it's not so easy because I was looking to do it. So if there's anybody that can tell me step by step what to do, how to block Puerto Rico, I would be immensely appreciative. And I would thank you 150 times over. Okay, one more screenshot I want to show you on my phone. I've been inundated this week with people saying, what is your lowest price or what is your best price? And the reason it pisses me off so greatly, as I've explained to you, is because I have best offer on every one of my listings, okay? Every one. No matter what it is, there's a best offer button enabled. All the person has to do is click the button and offer any amount he's comfortable with. Even if he wants to offer a measly $20 on a $100 item, I would never accept it. But at least he's manning up and he's saying, I'm willing to give you $20 for your $100 item, and I'm putting it in stone. So I have a way I handle these guys, and I've showed you before, and I'm going to show you again. The guy writes, "What is the best you could do on this? Thanks." I wrote back, "I have the best offer option on every one of my listings, so you could have easily made me an offer that you think is reasonable. Because you did not do that, I feel you're being deceptive. Anytime somebody asks me what my best price is, instead of sending me a best offer, I automatically block them. So you have made it to the block list. How does that sound?" I don't talk the talk, I walk the walk. Fair is fair. That's what the best offer button is for. If someone wants to offer us less than we're asking, no problem. Make that offer and hopefully they'll make it a good one. But this business is, what are your last price? It's getting out of hand, and it's not just with me. I've seen it a lot in some of the Facebook groups. It's really catching on, and it's really not good. And that's why I implore you guys who have coyones, and I do realize there's only a limited number out there, write back and explain to them, like I did, why they shouldn't do that. That's what the best offer option is for, to offer an amount that they think is fair. Now I want to talk about rush deals. I learned as a kid, rush deals never work. Anyone that's in a rush and wants it shipped next day overnight, I swear to Jesus, run as fast as you can the other way. So I had an incident the other day where a guy went from 0 to 60 in a matter of seconds. He started off fine and dandy, and he's one of these guys that has to ask 150 questions, one or two each time. We ended up corresponding back 14 times. Now you're thinking, well, Joe, why did you let it get that way? Why did you let it get out of hand? Because he started off reasonable. But it's an interesting story. I really want you to hear this. And I'm going to take the time and tell you the exact thing that happened, okay? He's driving an '89 Buick Century, and he's interested in buying a set of locks, which I should have grabbed and gotten ready to show you, and I didn't. Where are they? Here they are. Okay. So I've showed you these in past videos. Here is a lock bolt and a key, all right? They are mated to each other. Black bolt, black key, and they're plastic. They only fit certain vehicles, and I go out of my way. I am anal about describing it. And this goes back to what happened earlier in the video with that 73-year-old fossil who bought the silver key and is pissed off that it doesn't fit his green lock that I showed you last week. So anyway, this buyer that I'm talking about now lives in Canada. He has zero feedback. And he starts off totally reasonable. I have an '89 Buick Century. Will these black locks and key fit my car? He says, my car has to be inspected next week. Next week. Listen to that carefully. And I need brakes, and I can't get the locking wheel covers off. Now, '89 is a transition year. Most of them were metal, which means mine won't fit. Some were plastic. I said to him, take a close-up picture of your current bolt and send it to me in the next message. I said, I will tell you whether these will fit or not. So he did, and what he needed was he needed a black bolt, but it had to be metal, which means mine aren't going to fit. However, by a freak of nature, I do have a key that will fit, a black metal key. I said to him, do not buy my locks, they will not fit. I do have a key. I realize you're in a jam, you need to get these wheels off next week. I said, if you want, I'll make a special listing for you just for the key. He jumps for joy. Yes, yes, yes. All right, I took a picture of the key. I showed it to him. He agreed. All right. He bought it through the international shipping program, I believe. I'm pretty sure he did. So it was $40 for the key, plus like $8.75 shipping through the post office to the shipping hub. Okay? So far, everything's great. I made the listing for him. I sent him the link. He looked at it. He made the purchase like he said and paid right away. Okay? It's late in the day. It's maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock. I printed the shipping label, boxed up the item, put it in the pile to go out tomorrow morning, the next morning. A couple of hours go by. Listen, can you do better on the shipping? I'd really like to have this overnight. I said, that ain't happening. I said, you can't change the shipping terms after the label's been printed and after the deal's been done. I said, I wouldn't do it anyway. I said, just so you know, I don't do overnight shipping. I said, you told me you have a week before you're going to need to take the wheels off. It'll take 2 days at most to get to the shipping hub. I'm not sure how long from there to Canada. I'm not sure. He said, all right, no problem. About an hour or two go by. What do you think he does? Writes back to me again. Listen, hold off on shipping that key to me. The mechanic just contacted me and told me he broke the locks to get them off. I wrote back and said, what is wrong with you? I said, the whole reason you bought my key was because you told me you were taking the car in next week to get the brakes done. Why would you bring it in now and have him break the locks off? What good is the key going to do? He says, well, I'm going to need a whole new set of locks as well. You know, I just don't know what to tell you with this guy. I sent him his key. What happens then happens. I don't know how somebody can damage metal lock bolts, but I guess we're going to see how that works out once he gets the key next week. One interesting thing happened regarding a chargeback. I received a message from PayPal that I had a chargeback request. Now, eBay hasn't used PayPal in years. Do you know that the chargeback was from the year 2015? I swear to God. It was for $30, and it was once again another older person, another fossil. Every single one, bar none, is a fossil. Keeping on topic with fossils, I have a crazy return story for you this week. I've been selling on eBay for 25 years. Very few of you guys get the amount of returns I get. And I'm saying it on camera. If you can beat me in amount of returns, I want to know about it, okay? There might be one or two who are really big sellers that might. But as a rule, you can't touch me with the amount of returns. But I saw something this week happen that is absolutely unbelievable. It's so insane that I made a cutaway, which we're going to go to now. I want you to see this and understand how this happened, because that's the best way I can explain it to you. This all went down earlier this week. I had sold a person a chrome wheel cap, and let's see what happened. Okay, guys, please pay attention to this screen as I walk you through this. So the other day, I got this positive feedback right here that says, we appreciate that the seller sent exactly what was described, and it is in very good shape. They purchased a chrome wheel center cap from me, and they were obviously very happy, and everything was fine. Several hours later, I was shocked to see this right here. They opened up a case against me. Now they're claiming wrong item sent, as you can see right there. This made me very worried So I decided to do a little exploration on my own, and I checked the feedback that they left for their other sellers. And I came upon this. Now I need to tell you right now that originally this was a negative on the bottom right here. This was not positive. You can see here's the feedback they left from me, or for me rather, and here's the feedback they adjusted for the other seller, which was originally negative. Now I knew beyond any doubt that they had made a mistake and opened up the wrong case against me. They were supposed to open it against the other seller. So what I did was I called concierge to see if they could help me, and they told me no, they couldn't do anything for me, that I had to put on my Detective Lieutenant Columbo hat, and I had to try and coax the buyer to admit that they made a mistake. So that's exactly what I had to do, and I'll show you right now. Here are the messages from myself to the buyer. I will start reading. I wrote, "Hello, I see that you just opened a return request claiming I sent you the wrong item, but I'm a little confused. Earlier today you left me positive feedback thanking me for the item and saying it was exactly as described. However, in the return request you're claiming that I sent you an incorrect item. I noticed that you purchased the same item from another seller who did indeed send you the incorrect item, and I was wondering if perhaps you made a mistake and confused me with him when opening the return request. I'm enclosing a screenshot of the feedback for both transactions to clarify what I'm seeing. Please let me know the situation. Thank you and all the best, Joe." The buyer then responded, "Please allow me to apologize for the confusion. I did indeed request to return yours by mistake. I have already canceled the return request in eBay. Please let me know if I need to do anything else to clear things up." However, when I checked my seller hub, the return was still open. So I wrote back, "Hello, thank you for getting back to me. I just checked my eBay and the return still shows open. It would be unbelievably unfortunate if you canceled the return once again from the wrong seller. I took a look at the items he sent you and they were indeed broken, but once again, would you please close out my open return when you get a chance? All the best, Joe." And she wrote back and said, "I'm sorry. I'll work on getting this right as soon as I've had my breakfast." Now, at first, I was absolutely shocked that any eBay buyer could make two such egregious mistakes. Number one, opening a return request for the wrong seller, and number two, after being advised that they opened the wrong return request, the person then closed the wrong request. So I thought about what possible reasons could there be for someone to make a mistake like this. Think about that for a second, because I want to tell you the reason on camera. All right, you saw it for yourself. I felt that I had to do a cutaway and include screenshots because this is the kind of thing that can only happen to cute Joey. And it only happens to cute Joey because it has to do with eBay Motors. Now, I've heard cases in my 25 years on eBay where buyers have indeed left bad feedback for the wrong seller. I've heard this. Consequently, I guess it's possible too that a buyer could open a return from the wrong seller, like what was done to me at the beginning. I can understand it, especially with an older person. I'm not saying I condone it. I'm not saying I would ever do it. No, I wouldn't. Because I read. But I can definitely understand it happening. But what really, really makes me shake my head in disbelief is that after I wrote to the buyer and explained the whole situation, how she opened the return from the wrong seller, cute Joey, and she understood, she then closed the return for the wrong seller again. I don't know how she did it. I really don't. But like I said in the cutaway, originally she had left the seller negative feedback. Said something like, seller does not accept returns. The item that they sent to me was cracked and no good, and I couldn't use it on my car. So I looked at the listing, I traced it back, and the buyer was telling the truth. The item was absolute garbage and junk. There were 2 pieces included in the listing. One was utter garbage and useless and should never have even been put up because there's nothing you can do with it. The other one looked decent, but it had a problem with the backing. And since you're not in the business, I'm not going to even try and discuss that with you now, but I spotted the problem. Okay? So the person obviously couldn't use it. So I can understand them being unhappy. But I think what they may have done was they may have forced an item not as described claim and gotten a return that way. Because as you can see, they revised their feedback to positive for that seller. I don't think the seller in question was trying to be dishonest, because I looked at their store and most of the stuff does not have to do with cars and auto parts. So I honestly think that they were just in a territory that they're not familiar with. And sometimes that happens. But you really got to be careful when listing stuff on eBay Motors. You really need to know what stuff fits, because even when you have it all together and you know the interchanges, the cars, the fitment, you're going to get these people that just don't read. And like I've been saying the last few weeks, it's always the older people. And if you want to know how old the lady was that opened the return against me and then closed the return against the other guy instead of me, she was older than me, but she's younger compared to most of my returns. She's a mere 67, a child, okay? An actual child compared to the other ones I've been dealing with. But you cannot fault cute Joey if Joey shows you screenshots and proof of what he's saying. And that's why I like to include the screenshots when I can to back up my statements. My word is good. I will never come out here and lie to you guys. That's not how I roll. But I feel I owe it to you for your loyalty, for one thing. And just in case it ever happens to you, I want you to see how to handle these situations. So I hope that you're finding this stuff helpful. I've noticed an increase in business on eBay this week. This has been a better week than usual. I had 2 terrible days. Those days were Tuesday and Wednesday. Horrible. But the rest of the days were decent. So I really can't complain. Like it's been better than it has been. And of course, all the returns and those Lincoln caps that I mentioned earlier in the video have come back for the 3rd time. What would you do if you were me? To rehash real quick, I think I still got some time. Do I have time? Okay. To rehash real quick, the first time I sold them, I encountered a major dickhead. He filed a wrong item sent case and then hung himself because what I sent him were silver caps for a silver wheel. He has the chrome wheel, so they don't fit. The dickhead filed a case, so I have to eat the shipping both ways. And I called up eBay on it, and I didn't get to tell you this last week. They hung me out to dry. They said, when I called up, they said, at this point, we can't do a thing for you. They said, you have to wait until the shipping label fee shows up on your monthly invoice. When it shows up, you then have to call us back again, and even then, the most you're going to get back is $6. $6? It's not worth my time to call them. So I ate that one. Then the second time they came, remember, I showed you somebody purchased them for a 2005 Lincoln Continental. At no place in the listing does it say the word Lincoln Continental. So I flat out refused to send them. I called eBay and I put it on record. I said, I'm not sending these. I said, I got dicked over last week on double shipping. I'm not getting dicked over again. So I didn't send them. Now, a third time they went out, this guy did the same as customer number one in that he's got the chrome wheel and they don't fit. But this guy was at least honest and said that, you know, wrong size doesn't fit. It's on him, so he's paying the shipping. But anyway, I've got two choices. Number one, I could smash these things and throw them out and get them out of my life. Or I was thinking I could sell them dirt cheap. You know, like $15 for a set of 4, and then nail them on the shipping for $20, hoping that that would dissuade him from returning it. But knowing the customers I get, they will file a case, item not as described, so I have to pay the shipping. So the odds are very good that they're going to be thrown in the trash can. So basically, guys, that's really all I wanted to cover tonight on this scary Halloween edition of the Crazy New York Driver Show. If you were paying attention to the cases that I presented tonight, you should be scared. Because like I always say, if it happened to me, it can happen to you. I am not telling you guys to go run, hide in the corner, and stop selling your online or on eBay. Not at all. What I'm saying is continue selling. In fact, if possible, list even more. Okay? But you must protect yourselves. You absolutely must. This business of the weak. There are some people that are so weak. I mean spineless. Now I'm getting triggered because I read a couple of things on Facebook the other day. Let me just tell you one real quick, because I know you want to hear it anyway. There are some buyers that realize they can get away with keeping their item and getting a partial or full refund without sending it back by threatening sellers because they've done it in the past. So I read a couple of interesting stories in the Facebook groups this week, and one of them was, I don't remember what the item was. Let's just say it was a set of, for argument's sake, 6 glasses. And the buyer got them and was happy with 4 of them, but 2 of them had scratch marks, let's just say. They weren't broken, but they had scratch marks. And the buyer said, I'm very unhappy with this. I want a partial refund of, let's just say, for argument's sake, half the price. Whatever it was, half the price. So the seller started out using her brain and said, just send them back and I will give you a full refund, including shipping. And the buyer said, no, I'm keeping these because they were very desirable glasses. He didn't want to give them back. He said, I want a partial refund or I'm going to react in a negative manner on the feedback. Something to that extent. And the seller wrote back and said, listen, why you got to be like this? Just send me back all the glasses. I'll give you the full refund. And the buyer wrote back and said, listen, I do this all the time on eBay. I've done it at least 5 times this month, and every single seller has given me the partial refund without question. Why should you be any different? Can you believe that a buyer would actually put that in writing? And to be honest with you, I believe the guy. I believe he's telling the truth. Another lady wrote in with a similar situation where a buyer wanted a partial refund and was given her lip, and she caved in. She gave him the partial refund, and he still gave her negative feedback and eBay refused to remove it. This is why you need to grow a pair, all right? What you do is your business. I mean, I don't care. It ain't affecting me. But do you realize when you succumb to extortion and you bend way over, it's just like that buyer said. It makes it look like all sellers are gullible and easy. And that's just not the case, and it shouldn't be that way. If you want to offer 30-day returns, yes, I offer them. I have no problem. The only time I would consider a partial refund is if the item arrived damaged because of my bad packing, or even because the post office broke it and the person sent me a picture of the broken item. Well, that's a different story. There's no reason to return a broken item if it's broken. I get that. But in the cases I've just described to you, it's not that way. All right? It's not that way. The buyer even wrote to the seller in the example I just spoke of. He said something to the effect, hey, this is eBay. The buyers are in the driver's seat. We can do anything we want, and you know it. And listen to me. I read this. They posted the screenshot in the blocked eBay bidders group. I read this, okay? So it's not like I'm making it up or embellishing. So please trust me on that, okay? Well, if you weren't scared before, you probably are now. I'm Crazy New York Driver, you're not. Thank you for watching my special Halloween edition of Scary eBay Stories. I hope you found it enlightening. I hope you found it entertaining. And I hope you learned something from it. And I would like to hear all of your comments, questions, and concerns. I will take one more sip of eggnog before signing off. Love it. Look forward to seeing eggnog periodically right to New Year's Day. Hope you make a lot of sales on eBay this week. Rock on and peace.